The Chicago Bulls get dominated by the Detroit Pistons. We're going to be talking about tonight's loss as they fall to the Detroit Pistons 132 to 92. And so this is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so look, today the Chicago Bulls get dominated by the Detroit Pistons, and I must say that this was a very, very bad loss. And so before we go ahead and jump into really the key takeaways from tonight's loss, wanted to remind you there that about 64.8% of you that watch are not subscribed to the channel. So make sure that you go ahead and you slam dunk on that subscribe button. It means a lot as we try to reach our end of the season subscriber goal. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's content. Just looking at this loss to the Detroit Pistons. And so initially when I looked at this game, look, I mean, losing to the Detroit Pistons by 40, look, there was no ball movement. There was no player movement. There was no resistance on the defensive end. And honestly speaking, I mean, I just don't know if there was really any effort out there in this game. And I think that when I look at this and I just wonder, where is the direction? What is the plan of this team? Because definitely I had some questions as far as the way the rotations went tonight. And so let's go ahead and jump into the box score and look at some of the key takeaways from tonight's game. And so we start with this box score. Normally we go with the MVPs. And so, look, I'll start with Matas Buzelis. Even though he was negative 17 tonight, what I loved about Matas Buzelis is in his 19 minutes where he played the least amongst all the starters, he was still 5 of 7 from the field. He was 2 of 2 from 3. Yes, he did get, kind of bullied a bit on the defensive end, but still, you love the fact that he goes for double figures. But aside from that, only got 1 rebound, only got 1 assist in this one. And so really, I think I would have liked to see him play some more. That is the bottom line, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Next up, look, Josh Giddey, he went double figures tonight. He had 11 points, he had 6 rebounds and 4 assists. And so got to give him credit for going double figures. He was negative 29. Next up, look, a player that, I'm very concerned about is going to be Vooch, because Vooch was 4 of 15 tonight. Look, he had 8 points. He had 7 rebounds, but once again, I mean, he just looks like that, he's kind of out of place here with this team. And so he just didn't look very engaged, completely frustrated in tonight's game. So he didn't look very good. Ayo with 8 points tonight. Coby White struggled mightily today. I mean, 5 points, 2 of 13 from the field, negative 30. I mean, that was just, it was terrible, right? And then when we shift focus and we look at the bench tonight, this is where it gets interesting for me, because starting with Kevin Huerter. So Kevin Huerter, look, he played 21 minutes off of the bench tonight. He had 5 points. He did have 5 rebounds. He had 4 assists. I had him at negative 20 tonight. But still, 21 minutes, he played more than, the rookie, who I'm pretty sure is going to be a part of your future in Matas Buzelis. He played more than him tonight, so that was really kind of a head-scratcher. Next up, looking at Zack Collins, I mean, he finally got some run off of the bench. And so, with him, they were talking about the physicality and, really what he brings to the team there. I didn't necessarily see that tonight. He did step outside, knock down a three-point shot, did get 5 rebounds today. He was negative 5. He played 12 minutes. I think I would have liked to see him play a little bit more, especially, with the situation that we have going on with the center. I think that, it's probably almost kind of a foregone conclusion that we're probably going to move on from Vooch here in the offseason or at some point. And so I think that I wanted to see some more with Zack Collins in the case that, he might have to be out here some more at the center position. With Jalen Smith tonight, look, he only got 11 minutes in tonight's game, and so we didn't really get a chance to see that much from him. I just talked about how he's been playing well and being a pretty good scorer out there, and I just felt like he didn't get enough opportunity. Dalen Terry, he had 6 points off the bench. He played in 14 minutes. You had THT, he played in 8 minutes. He had 4 points. You had Javon Carter, 3 points. He played 11 minutes today. And then another player, too, that, I thought he had an interesting night for the most part, too, was It was Jones. I thought that Tre Jones had an interesting night tonight. I mean, he had 8 points. He did have an assist. He had a couple steals. He was negative 23. I did like his activity, even though he was in a negative 23. But still, with the log jam of guards here, I mean, I think that is going to be interesting. And so, look, this was there's nothing great about this game. I think that this was just a terrible game across the board. Just, again, not a lot of energy. I think at one point in time, the Bulls maybe were, I think, 0 of 20 from downtown, just 29 points at halftime. Like, this was terrible. I mean, it's just a terrible, terrible loss today. And, I mean, there's nothing else to really say about that. So let's go ahead and jump into the box score from tonight's game. And so, look, the Pistons, 55-44 as far as total rebounds, 16-15 with the Bulls in turnovers here today. So not, a whole bunch of turnovers, but still we led that category, which has been really, I think, kind of just the real, I guess that's been us really throughout this year, is just that the Bulls have led in turnovers and something where they continue to really beat themselves. And then with the fast breaks, you see that the Pistons had a chance to really take advantage of the Bulls in the fast break game, 26-14 in that one. Points in the paint, once again, we surrendered a lot of points there, 60-50 as far as points in the paint. 10-9 Pistons with the activity and the steals and the block shots. The Pistons were all over us today, 8-2 in that. And then when you look at the assists, look, 22-35 field goal makes. And look, I know we had 22 to the 35 field goal makes, but make no mistake about it. I mean, we really struggled as a team today. It was just terrible on the offensive end. So that 22 assists, I mean, I think it probably doesn't really tell the full story of this game. The field goal percentage, 35% for the Bulls, 21.3% from three. I mean, just absolutely terrible. The Pistons were 53.1% from the field, 43.9% from three. And look, this is... man, what a loss. That's all I can really say about this. This was just a loss where you just wonder what are the Bulls going to do. And it's a game like this where we've been talking about this, that over this last 29 games, now 28 to go, this is going to be even more important than the first half of the season. And I think that you have to be even more locked in as far as evaluating, because this is going to fly by. Like, we're already at the All-Star break here coming up after another game with the Pistons here tomorrow. And, the Bulls have really got to make some decisions. And, just going back to one of the things that AK said in his press conference after moving on from Zach LaVine, and just kind of reflecting here, talking about, how if we get a high draft pick, or where we might be in a play-in, or we might be in the playoffs. I think what I'm saying is that if the young nucleus can get you to the play-in and playoffs, it's going to be growth in terms of your young players and development. That's worth it for me. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, I don't see the play-ins. I don't see the playoffs. I guess if you're getting a high draft pick, I mean, that's fine. But like I've said before with this team, I just think if you're not doing the right things as far as really evaluating the talent, you can get the right player and still come out on the wrong end of things, because you haven't done what is necessary to put the necessary pieces in place for that draft pick to be successful, and also to the players that have been here to be successful. I think that, seriously, the Bulls have got to come up with a plan now to go, okay, we are definitely looking to move on with these players that we have, and we're not looking to move on with them, and you've got to play this accordingly. And I've said this before with this situation with Vooch. I said this just yesterday, that I think that this is going to become a real situation where I think Billy Donovan might have to seriously make a decision there, where he might have to dial back Vooch. And if he does do that, that could really seriously maybe cut into maybe his trade value this offseason. Maybe. I mean, it is a possibility, but I just think at this point, you need to get some of these players out there that have not played as much, or that you are really on the fence about bringing back. You got to see what you have. And certainly you have got to play your rookie more. Like, Matas Buzelis is here. Like I don't think he's going anywhere via trade. He must be out here more than Kevin Huerter. Like Kevin Huerter is probably not going to be a part of the long-term future. So I just don't understand the direction that we took here in today's game with the minutes and things like that. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this most recent loss. Like I said, I don't think that there's really anything else to be said about that. I think more so the real question is, what are the Bulls going to do with the players that they're going to just really move on with? I think that is the real question. And I think after watching this game and seeing how the minutes were handed out, I just have a lot more questions than answers. And so make sure that you press that like, subscribe button. It means a lot to us here as we try to reach our end of this season subscriber count. And look, even though this just looks like a complete mess, I just know at some point this team will turn it around, and hopefully we do get a chance to see some good winning basketball at some point and hopefully see this team be a contender. Let me know in the comments. And as I always say, go Bulls, and I will see you on the next one. All right, peace.